My name is Lennon, and I've been a single mother to my daughter Emma for 15 years. I raised her alone after my ex walked out when she was 2. Despite the struggles, Emma just got accepted to Princeton with a full scholarship. I was proud. My family was proud. Well, most of my family. Lennon, darling! My mother Patricia pulled me into a hug at the annual family reunion. I'm so proud of Emma. Princeton! Thanks, Mom, I said, squeezing her tight. My sister Victoria approached with her husband Brian and their 3 kids trailing behind. She looked me up and down with that familiar sneer. Well, well, Victoria said. Little sister finally showed up. Hi, Victoria, I replied evenly. Good to see you too. Is it though? She laughed, her voice carrying across the backyard, where 30 relatives had gathered. I mean, are you sure you should be here? Don't you have to work your little waitressing job? I managed a dental practice, but Victoria never got the details right. I'm a practice manager, Victoria. I took the day off. How nice, she said, her tone dripping with condescension. And where's Emma? Let me guess. Too embarrassed to show her face after barely graduating? Emma graduated valedictorian, I said quietly. She's volunteering at the Children's Hospital today. Victoria's eyes narrowed. Of course she is. Always trying to prove something. Uncle Robert walked over with a beer. Lennon! Heard about Emma's scholarship. That's incredible. Thank you, Uncle Robert. Victoria cut in before he could continue. You know what I think? Single mothers raise broken children. It's just statistics. The backyard went silent. Excuse me? I stared at my sister. You heard me, Victoria said louder, making sure everyone could hear. Children need 2 parents. Emma might have gotten lucky with some scholarship, but she'll never be well adjusted. She'll have abandonment issues, relationship problems, probably end up divorced like you. Victoria, my mother gasped. That's enough. I'm just being honest, Mother, Victoria continued. Someone needs to say it. Lennon made bad choices and Emma will suffer for it. Look at my kids. Stable home, 2 parents, proper family structure. That's how you raise successful children. Brian shifted uncomfortably. Honey, maybe we should… Stay out of this, Brian, Victoria snapped. I'm tired of everyone pretending Lennon is some kind of hero for doing the bare minimum. She got knocked up, the father left, and now she's struggling. That's not inspiring. It's pathetic. Tears stung my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. You're cruel, I whispered. I'm realistic, Victoria shot back. And honestly, Lennon, you're an embarrassment to this family. Dad would be ashamed. That broke me. Our father had died 2 years ago, and he'd been my biggest supporter. I grabbed my purse and left without another word. My mother called after me, but I couldn't stay there. As I drove home, something nagged at me. Victoria had been unusually vicious lately, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I remembered. Dad's estate was still being settled. Victoria had volunteered to handle the paperwork as the executor, since she was better with finances. I'd trusted her. Maybe that was my first mistake. The next morning, I called my mother. Honey, I'm so sorry about yesterday, she said immediately. Victoria was completely out of line. Mom, I need to ask you something, I said. Have you received your portion of Dad's estate yet? There was a pause. No, actually. Victoria keeps saying there are delays with the lawyers. Why? My stomach dropped. When was the estate supposed to be finalized? 6 months ago, Mom said slowly. Lennon, what's going on? I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to find out. I spent the morning digging through boxes until I found my copy of Dad's will. Then I called a private investigator named Tyler Harrison that a friend had recommended. Ms. Lennon, Tyler said when we met that afternoon, tell me what you suspect. My sister is the executor of our father's estate. She's been stalling distribution for months and recently became extremely hostile toward me. I think she might be hiding something. You think she's embezzling? I don't know, I admitted, but something's wrong. Tyler leaned back in his chair. I'll need copies of the will, any trust documents, and your sister's full name and information. I provided everything. How long will this take? Give me a week, he said. If there's financial impropriety, I'll find it. 5 days later, Tyler called me back. You need to sit down for this, he said. My hands shook as I listened. Your sister has been systematically draining your father's estate for 18 months, Tyler explained. She's transferred over $400,000 into offshore accounts. She's forged your mother's signature multiple times. She's sold property that was designated for you and pocketed the money. $400,000? I repeated in shock. And counting. She's also been billing fake legal expenses to the estate, lawyers that don't exist, fees that were never charged. How did she think she'd get away with this? Tyler was quiet for a moment. That's the interesting part. She's been building a case against you. Against me? She's told several family members that she suspects you of being financially irresponsible, that you've been pressuring her for money, that you might try to challenge the estate distribution. She's been preemptively discrediting you. The reunion comment suddenly made sense. She was trying to make sure no one would believe me if I discovered the truth, I said. Exactly. By painting you as a struggling single mother who makes bad decisions, she ensured the family would doubt any accusations you made. I felt sick. What do I do now? We document everything, Tyler said. I've already compiled bank records, forged documents, and email trails. Then you confront her with the entire family present. I called my mother that night. Mom, I need you to trust me, I said. Can you arrange a family meeting this Sunday? Tell everyone it's about Dad's estate. Lennon, what did you find? Just trust me, Mom. Make sure Victoria and Brian are there, and Uncle Robert, Aunt Diane, and anyone else who cares about Dad's legacy. You're scaring me, honey. Good, I said, because when you hear what Victoria's done, you should be scared. Sunday arrived, and 20 family members gathered in my mother's living room. Victoria looked annoyed. Why are we here, Lennon? I'm very busy. I bet you are, I said calmly. Tyler stood beside me with a briefcase full of documents. Who's this? Victoria demanded. This is Tyler Harrison, a private investigator I hired. Victoria went pale. A private investigator? For what? To find out why Dad's estate hasn't been distributed after 18 months, I said. I already explained that, Victoria said quickly. There are legal complications. Really? I opened the briefcase. Because according to Mr. Harrison's investigation, the only complication is that you've been stealing from the family. That's absurd, Victoria jumped up. Mother, are you going to let her make these accusations? My mother's face was hard. Sit down, Victoria. Let her speak. Tyler began distributing copies of bank statements. These documents show that Victoria has transferred $437,000 from your father's estate into offshore accounts, he said. She's also forged Patricia's signature on multiple occasions and sold property designated for Lennon, keeping the proceeds. Uncle Robert grabbed the papers. This can't be real. It's very real, Tyler continued. She's billed over $50,000 in fake legal fees. The lawyers she claims to have hired don't exist. You hired some con man to make up lies about me? Victoria shrieked. You're desperate for money, so you're trying to frame me. Frame you? I pulled out more documents. Here are copies of emails you sent to the offshore bank. Here's the deed transfer you forged. Here's Mom's signature compared to the forgery. They're not even close. Brian stood up, staring at his wife. Victoria, please tell me this isn't true. It's not! She's lying. She's always been jealous of me. Jealous? I laughed bitterly. Of what? Your fake perfect life? Aunt Diane was reading through the statements. Victoria, these account numbers, these are yours? I can explain. Then explain, my mother said coldly. Explain why you stole from your father's estate. Explain why you forged my signature. Explain everything. Victoria's face crumpled. I needed the money. Brian lost his job 2 years ago and we were drowning in debt. The house, the cars, the kids' private school. We couldn't afford any of it. So you stole from your own family? Uncle Robert's voice shook with anger. I was going to pay it back, Victoria sobbed. I just needed time. Time? I stepped forward. You had time to humiliate me at the reunion. You had time to tell everyone that single mothers raise broken children. You had time to systematically destroy my reputation so no one would believe me when I found out what you'd done. Victoria's eyes widened. I didn't. Yes, you did, Tyler interjected. We have statements from 7 family members that you've been spreading rumors about Lennon's financial stability and parenting for over a year. Brian grabbed his keys. I need to leave. Brian, please! Victoria reached for him. Don't touch me, he said quietly. I asked you 3 times in the last year if we were okay financially. You lied to my face while you were stealing from your dead father. He walked out. Victoria turned to our mother. Mom, please. I'm your daughter. You have to forgive me. My mother stood up, her face like stone. Get out of my house. Mom! Get out! Patricia's voice cracked. You stole from your father's memory. You tried to destroy your sister. You forged my signature. Get out of my house and don't come back. The following week, my mother organized another family gathering, this time without Victoria. I can't believe I didn't see it, Mom said, shaking her head. All those delays, all those excuses. She was convincing, Aunt Diane added. She had us all fooled. Uncle Robert raised his glass. To Lennon, for having the courage to investigate. Everyone clinked glasses, and I felt overwhelmed by the support. Has anyone heard from Victoria? I asked quietly. She's called me 17 times, Mom said. I haven't answered. She called me too, Aunt Diane said, begging me to talk to Patricia. I told her what she did was unforgivable. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Victoria. Please, Lennon, can we talk? I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. I showed it to my mother. Are you going to respond? Mom asked. No, I said firmly. She made her choices. Tyler had transferred all the evidence to the district attorney's office. 2 days later, Victoria was charged with embezzlement, forgery, and fraud. My mother called me after the arraignment. How did it go? I asked. The prosecutor said she's looking at 5 to 10 years if convicted, Mom said heavily. Victoria tried to approach me in the hallway. What did she say? She said, Mom, please, I'm your daughter. Don't let them do this to me. What did you tell her? I told her, you stopped being my daughter when you stole from your father's grave. Then I walked away. A week later, Brian filed for divorce. Victoria called me directly, crying. Lennon, please, you've destroyed my life. My husband is leaving me. My kids are ashamed of me. The whole family hates me. Please drop the charges. No, I said calmly. Please, I'm begging you. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting someone's birthday, I said. You committed fraud. You stole hundreds of thousands of dollars. You tried to ruin my reputation. Those weren't mistakes. Those were calculated choices. But I'm your sister. You should have remembered that before you told everyone that single mothers raise broken children, I said. You should have remembered that before you stole from our father. You should have remembered that before you forged Mom's signature. I'll pay it all back, every penny. That's not up to me anymore. That's up to the court. How can you be so heartless? Victoria sobbed. I'm not heartless, I said. I'm just done being your victim. Goodbye, Victoria. I hung up. The trial was scheduled for 3 months later. Meanwhile, the family held a small party to celebrate Emma's departure for Princeton. Speech! Speech! Uncle Robert called out. Emma blushed. I just want to thank my mom. She worked 2 jobs sometimes to make sure I had everything I needed. She never complained, never gave up. Mom, you're my hero. I hugged my daughter tightly as everyone applauded. Later, my mother pulled me aside. Your father would be so proud of you. For exposing Victoria? For standing up for yourself, Mom said. For refusing to be treated that way. For teaching Emma that she doesn't have to accept cruelty from anyone, even family. Do you think Victoria will actually serve time? Tyler seems to think so. The evidence is overwhelming. I nodded slowly. I don't feel happy about it, Mom, but I don't feel guilty either. You shouldn't, Mom said firmly. She made her choices. Now she has to live with the consequences. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about refusing to let people destroy you without consequences. It's about protecting yourself and the people you love. It's about knowing your worth and demanding that others respect it. Victoria wanted to paint me as a broken single mother raising a broken child. Instead, I showed the whole family who was really broken. Have you ever had a family member betray you and try to ruin your reputation to cover their crimes? Sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the worst betrayal. Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.